Poolish, Poolish, Poolish. It's used for bread. It makes things taste better. Poolish. It's great. Poolish. What a funny word. Poolish. My name is Paul Tran. This is Paul Tran, Baker Man. Poolish, not to be confused with Pooland or a tiny swimming pool. Dad jokes, brought to you by me. You're welcome. Is a pre-fermented batter mix that's made up of a tiny bit of baker's yeast as well as equal parts of flour and water. It can be prepared anywhere between a few hours to an entire day before it's actually needed. What happens is that the microorganisms, wild yeast, and baker's yeasts multiply by feeding on the sugars present in flour and actual sugar, like maltose and glucose. To grow and thrive, they need a sealed environment away from oxygen, which is called anaerobic. As a byproduct of feeding and growing, they create carbon dioxide and alcohol, or ethanol. The alcohol provides flavor. So the longer it sits and rests, the more alcohol is made. The more fermentation occurs, so the more flavorful it becomes. A long and slow fermentation develops a sweet, yeasty flavor. So once it bakes, the alcohol burns off and it will give the finished baked bread a lighter texture and a thin, crispy crust. Let's make some. So I'm going to measure out 125 grams of warm water. You want this water to be somewhere between 70 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. You know, somewhere between like 26, 28 degrees Celsius. And I'm going to use a scale for mine. So this is going to be about 2/3 of a cup of water, just less in. $125 exactly. Perfect. An 1/8 of a teaspoon of yeast. That's active dry yeast. What temperature is my water? 84 degrees. Perfect. Before I took microbiology, I actually used to use water that was probably too hot and probably accidentally killed off the yeast a lot. Because if the water's too hot, you kill the yeast and it's just no good anymore. Give that a quick stir and tear my measure. And I'll try to put in 125 grams. It's going to be about a cup of flour. You can use any kind of flour that you like. I'm using all-purpose flour for right now. Sometimes you can mix in a little rye or use bread flour, which typically has like a higher protein content to it. 125 grams. I'm just going to mix this up until it's completely combined. There we have it. And in about 3 to 4 hours to a day in advance, we will have Poolish. And then I can use it to directly use it for bread. This Poolish has been resting overnight, and look how much more Poolish we have. Technically, we don't actually have much more flour and water. What we do have, there are a lot more carbon dioxide as well as fermentation happening. So it's going to technically weigh about the same, but we're actually have just yeast that's ready to make some great flavorful bread. So check it out. See all those bubbles? That is how you know that all that yeast is activated. We got some really nice growth there. So I'm excited about making some great bread. If you like this video, please give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't done it so already. Tell your friends, maybe. If you're good at transcribing and translating words, I could use your help. Please click the link in the show notes to help translate me into different languages. I really appreciate this. Thank you.